you've had your two most intense training days. Today was a, sort of an off day to a certain extent. Um, what first of all, did you accomplish what you wanted to accomplish with those four sessions?
Absolutely. First of all, the connection with the boys, and then an understanding of what we're about, what we intend to represent. And actually, it's more than rugby. All of this, isn't it? It's rugby's brought us together to represent um, everybody who's fallen from the various arms of the military within the US, and particularly poignant time of the year linked to remembrance. I think it's incredibly powerful. The fact that we've come to the home of rugby, England, playing against a fantastic outfit in the British Army. We've seen them on television and filled out national stadiums. But it's not really about the game on Friday night. It's more about the reasons why we're here, and certainly the connections that we've built with the British Army to date have been wonderful. And I hope this continues. And this group of players recognise that they are the first. They want to throw down a marker on Friday night and show what is possible in 2 days of training. And that's going to be tough.
Yeah, but you had a plan. Right?
Yeah,
you definitely had a plan, and you told the players about it. Start easy. Watch the quote unquote easy training. It's
hard to hold these boys back.
Yes.
It's in their DNA.
Yeah.
And do you know, in my world, I think of Friday night as the prized boxing match, and you've got to have enough energy in the tank to throw your punches. So you can't ramp or start at an intensity. Rather, you've got to ramp your sessions, ramp towards Friday night. So, but because of the nature of these men, what comes natural to them, which is the difficult thing with professional teams, that physicality, that fight, that never give up, and that negates against the lack of experience they may have, or the rugby intelligence of the team they're going to play against. So it's been wonderful to see, to experience the connection amongst the players, to listen to them speak about what this means to them, and probably they won't appreciate this, but to find out how old some of them are, and someone like Butters coming up to you, who'll be on the bench for us at prop, to say he's done so much in the world of military, and this is the most special thing he's ever done. And, you can't put that into words, and for me to experience that, it's very grounding.
Yeah. It does seem like Sandhurst had really helped. In terms of, my experience, I can walk around. I'm spoken to politely. We're fed. You've got a beautiful rugby field right next door. So there's a lot of things to say about this facility.
Yeah, it's great. It's great for me to come home and experience and be here.
Yeah.
Again, particularly at this time of year, around Remembrance Sunday, they've been wonderful. Everyone has been wonderful, but Major Chris in particular, he's been part of why this has happened. And we met the main man last night, who Brigadier Gary, I believe, and the planning and the excitement and the desire for this to continues. It's exciting for what's possible. That's probably the first military side that's ever played an international overseas, for the US, and even that's a one-off and can never be beaten now. So, for these guys, it's extremely exciting. You can see that, and I'm excited by what Friday's going to bring.
Talking about the players a little bit, I was sort of having a fun time just looking at the players and saying, okay, what would I pick in terms of just how they carry themselves, how they're moving, just even the first day. Some of them were pretty obvious. Some less so. I think it's difficult, especially when you don't know them, like to to pick a front row, and sort of say, yeah, that's the guy. That I think you have to watch him. So I probably got that wrong. Not to denigrate anybody, just but what did you see? Who were some of the players perhaps who jumped out, sort of like practiced their way onto your 15?
Yeah, it's interesting because I come in my blank canvas and you ask for advice from others, and we probably had a draft team drawn up based on advice, but within the 4 training sessions we have, there have been changes, and we've actually made some tough calls, and that's based on how the boys have trained and how those individuals have combined in their mini unit. Front row, for example. If you're asking for who's jumped out at me and probably burst their way into the team, you look at Matty Tego in the centre, Nico, who we've didn't run on day one within the perceived starting 15, then ran on the wing and now is going to start at 13. And young Logan as well. I just like the way he moved, and there's rawness to his game, but I think if we can get the ball into our more athletic outside backs, and those boys just back themselves to have a go, we can cause them some problems. No doubt they're going to cause us problems because they play more regular rugby, they've been playing it for longer, they're a younger side, they've played more games this season, but I'm looking forward to us, as I say, throwing punches and having a go.
Excellent. You also selected a bench that's you're going to need something from them.
We've
as
gone
well.
for a 6-2 because we know our forwards are going to be tested.
Sure.
Of what's the Army v Navy game, which is huge experience at Twickenham, and the Army drive a lot of line out, so we've got a bar up there and deal with them all technically, but attitude more so. So it's going to take for a bit out of our forwards' legs, and we've got to show that up. And we've got some forwards who can play in the backs, and it's you can double guess yourself sometimes, but it just felt right. And when I spoke to the other coaches, we all agreed that it was the best format for this game. Within this group, because a lot of them have played sevens rugby more so than 15s, their experience of playing in the forwards but maybe more a back, or playing on the edge but maybe more of a back row, has allowed us the comfort of going with a 6-2 split.
Okay, good. You have really a pretty standard progression. Training day, harder training day, bit of a day off with some pool recovery, and then captain's run, and then bam, you're into it. Probably not enough time, but what value, say today, pool recovery, trip to the museum, a little bit more like relaxed day.
A bit of bonding. It was good for me to speak to the boys about their life, their journey, their families, children, plans for after the military, for those who are out of the military, how they're dealing with things, as opposed to being a sports coach. Since we arrived here on Sunday, it's all about getting the team ready. And I would say from Monday morning to Tuesday afternoon, we were unrecognisable, and it shows you what's possible. And the boys know that themselves. Obviously, it's going to be tested in real life pressure. But regardless of that, it shows you what is possible, and with a little bit more preparation, we would be better prepared for Friday night. But today has been wonderful. We went to the RAF museum in Hendon, just outside London, and it was great for the boys, particularly those within the Air Force back in the USA. I nearly said back home, but back in the USA. And it was a pretty special occasion, right through from First World War, 1910, when the RAF was first formed, and the allegiance between the RAF and the US Air Force was been consistent from those early times. And it's great for the boys to be part of that, and also to view up close a number of US airplanes as well that were used through various wars.
So the military side of it is always there. Obviously, with Sandhurst, it's kind of hard to avoid that. But it seems to have resonated pretty strongly with you. What's your connection to the military?
I've always been someone who's admired the values of the military and that camaraderie and the transferable qualities from the military to sport. And
Yeah.
when you're looking at rugby union, a complex game, a game that requires you to work as a team or mini teams. Your forwards at scrum time. If you want one individual working by himself, depowers you as a unit, and it's the same for the military. So the values, how you deal with pressure, how you deal with setback, how you never give up, and um, how, for us on Friday night, we want to be seen as a team that fights for everything and never gives up, regardless of the event that's just happened. We want to focus on the next moment and the moment thereafter. So, yeah, for me, maybe in a different life, if I hadn't been good at rugby, I'd have been more towards that. But it means a lot to me where I'm from, and my admiration for people who sacrifice for us is beyond anything I've ever achieved in rugby.
Now it's really over to you. So you start clearing your head for Friday night because you visualise your roles within certain players when you look at the playbook and you get it right. Come Thursday, we enjoy captain's practice, and Friday we fire into it. Nothing to lose, we're firing punches, no regrets. Okay, your circle.